Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. I can't believe I'm really up shooting a video this morning on Monday. We got back home from Nashville at about 11:30 last night. That's when everyone finally got into bed. Fortunately, the kids slept on the way home, but we had a 2-day cheer competition, and then we're going to turn around and we have our final competition in Destin coming up very, very soon. So I've got travel makeup on the brain, and I thought it might be fun to actually go through the bag I took, which I have not yet unpacked, for the weekend, and share what things I did use and didn't use, because I always pack a little extra. I always give myself a bit of an option, and inevitably some of that stuff gets used, some of it doesn't get touched. But I thought I'd talk about that. And as for my makeup today, it was super light and quick. I tried to gain myself a little extra sleep time today and thought maybe I could just do a quick makeup routine. Actually, I think it turned out looking pretty good, pretty finished. So I did my normal skincare, and then I used my Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Skin Tint Stick in 05. That's my shade. And I love this. This is quick and easy blending. I always enjoy the appearance on the skin. Staying power is pretty good for me too, so that was a good choice. And then also I used a stick concealer, my Neutrogena Hydro Boost in Fair. I just used that on the under eye and around the nose. I decided to set with my Tower 28 powder. This is the Get Set powder in Palisades Pink. So I just applied this with a brush. I actually prefer putting this on with a brush as opposed to like a little triangle powder puff. Something about the way it lays down on the skin, it just looks better, and I feel like I actually get more color payoff that way. But I set my under eye and T-zone with that. I went to a full face palette because that's really one of the quickest ways to go when you're just trying to get a cohesive look without a lot of time. The Laura Geller Cheek to Chic Tropical Glow Face Palette. I've had this one for a while and I absolutely love it. So I've got a couple of bronzer shades here, the Tahitian Glow and Honey Dipped. I have both of those on my face. This for my blush, Tropic Hues. That's a classic in the Laura Geller range and it works so well. It's such a pretty blush color. And then I ended up using both of the highlights, French Vanilla and Dolce de Leche. That one has a little bit of glow, and I just feel like the skin looks real fresh with that. I even used Honey Dipped in my crease for my eyes and French Vanilla on my lids. Brow, just pulled a couple out of my drawer. This Makeup Forever Aqua Resist Brow Definer. Shade is medium brown, and then my medium brown Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt. Just did a quick brow with that. Oh, I did use my Laura Geller Kajal Longwear eyeliner. It's just like a chubby pencil. This is the Smoky Amethyst Kohl shade, so just kind of a deep plum. That is only across my upper lash line, so smudgy, lazy liner. For my lashes, I started out with Neutrogena Healthy Volume. I liked the look okay, but got a little more thickness and drama by adding a coat of CoverGirl Exhibitionist Stretch and Strengthen over the top. I really like that. And then my lip, it's a great tinted lip balm, rediscovered the Burt's Bees Lip Shimmer in Rhubarb. What a great shade this is. I actually have on some red leggings right now, so it'll be sort of coordinated. I don't know, they're not super bright red. They're a little bit between red and burgundy. So as for my travel bag, I did stick my skincare in here and definitely used it. My Vanny Cream Daily Facial Moisturizer, which is almost an empty, and my Vanny Cream actual thick, rich face cream that I use on my under eye area. I use both of those, but it's back in my storage now. And I took my Bare Minerals SPF that I thought I would empty out while I was on my trip, but I still have just a tidbit left of that, the Bare Minerals Skin Longevity Vitamin C SPF. Those things were used in a lot of my usual brushes that you see me use all the time as well. So opening this up, I've got this big section here where I keep complexion stuff, and then I've got a couple of pockets in the back that are both detachable. One holds lip products, one holds eye products. Last couple of trips, I actually used my little Hard Candy Girl Scouts bag, which is just one big open makeup case, and that worked all right. Like for an overnight trip, a one night thing, but something about more than one night. I feel like I gotta take more stuff. I already had these in here, my Ardell Wispies. My look, I guess, for a cheer competition is sometimes a little bit more on the glam side. Really pretty much my everyday look, but a big focus on staying power. But I have these, and I actually had one lash because one time I tried splitting the Ardell Wispies in two, like cutting them in two and using them as a half lash on each side. And on day one, I did do that just because I had that one extra lash hanging around there. And it looked really good because wispies are basically a symmetrical lash. They're maybe a little bit shorter in here, but like they lengthen out in the middle. And if you trim them, they're definitely usable. Like you could take the one lash and split it. So I did that that one day. I put a couple palettes in here. I used the Revolution one. Really, I think this was the more workable, just neutral color scheme. I could have gone full on purple because purple is in the team colors, but this year, to a lesser extent, it's more like the Gym's colors, and this year the teams went more navy blue. So I just went with this. I used this both days, the Revolution Reloaded Velvet Rose palette. Absolutely loved it. Created easy, blendable looks. Was not on my home turf, but still felt like, yeah, this creates a nice look that I'm not having to work hard for, and colors that I feel always complement my skin tone, I guess. So that worked well. But I did bring Natasha Denona Bloom palette. It's just new to me, and I wanted to use it more, but it didn't really quite mesh with my overall color scheme. For foundation, here's what I did use actually. Both days I used my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Matte Foundation in soft beige. As I was packing my makeup, usually the day that I'm packing, I will pack my makeup as I use it, and it will ensure that I don't forget something. So this was something I used the day prior, and I was noting in our kind of rainy, humid weather just how amazingly well this wore. That's not a surprise to me, but it was just like, oh yeah, that really looks fresh at the end of the day. So I used that both days of the competition. Even tried it out on Belle on day one, and it looked good, but it's a little more than she needs. I also took the Soft Glam foundation from e.l.f., but did not end up wearing it. Like I said, I was just too much of a believer on the staying power of that. I took a couple of concealers and actually used them both. I took my Natasha Denona, the High Glam Concealer in R2, and used that on my under eye, and then I used my Revlon Colorstay Flex Wear in Vanilla elsewhere on my skin. It's just a little different tone. Both are pretty bright, but this might be a hint less bright, and I use this like around my nose and other parts of my skin, and actually the two just really wore flawlessly together on my face. I used my little mini size of my e.l.f. Power Grip primer with the 4% niacinamide. It's just mini, it's easy. I often take this, and it's probably got just, you know, a few more uses left in it. I took my travel size of the one size loose setting powder, the translucent shade, and this is just very easy to take if you want to have a loose powder. It's small, it's compact, so it's kind of a no-brainer to bring that, and I brought a triangle powder puff, which I did use. I also brought a Kosas Cloud Set, because a lot of times I do reach for this. If I have any opportunity to touch up, I might take some Cloud Set all over my face, so I took that. That's in the shade Breezy. It's more of my all over the face type of shade. I took and used my Maybelline Superstay Pressed Powder, which I have proudly hit pan on, did you know? This is in the shade 128, so Superstay Hybrid Powder Foundation. It definitely is soft. It does not take a lot of powder when you're using it, but I would have used that at the stage of the game where I'd set my under eye and then I lightly set all over with that. And my makeup was locked in. I took my Persona sticks, because layering cream and powder I think always adds to the longevity of the look, so I took Dune for my bronzer stick. This is kind of in the middle of some shades that I have. Sahara is much deeper, and I think the shade called Mojave, that one is a little newer and it's more cool and light, but Dune sort of falls in the middle, kind of a sunny shade, and I always like the way that looks on me, so I used that, and then I brought the blush stick in the shade Caramel. So beautiful pink, kind of taken down a notch a little bit in the dusty rose category, I guess, but both are really pretty together. And then I set with this little NARS palette, two classic shades. The blush we all know about, the bronzer in Laguna, that one has like a little sheen to it, and I just topped off my cheek look with those items and used my Milani little highlighter. If you're gonna travel, take the smaller highlighter, the Afterglow highlighter, Strobe Light. It's just that beautiful pearly can't miss highlighter shade, and that wraps up all the things that I used on my face. And like I said, it was pretty much everything except I didn't end up using the e.l.f. foundation. For eye makeup, I took and used my Wet n Wild Mega Last Eyeshadow Primer. Had great luck with this. Everything stayed looking just the same at the end of the day as it did at the start of the day. And on day one especially, we were in some rain. It's been swampy, rainy here for like a week, and Nashville wasn't too different. For brow stuff, I took my Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil shade 4. I just know that's an easy one for me, and yeah, I took it, I used it. I didn't have any other option there. there, a couple of brow gels. I took my Gimme Brow because I felt like I was using it up, and I do feel like it's kind of actually drying out. But it does work well, and I took my CoverGirl Clean Fresh Brow Gel as a backup, the gel wax. This is colorless. This does have tint. I have an empty on this Ioni lash glue. I scraped what I could out of this on day 1, and day 2 I actually didn't even do a lash, but this is going into the empties bin. That one's done. And now they're selling it in a larger tube, actually. That's what I keep in Belle's sheer makeup bag because she has to wear lashes. I did use my cold brew stick. I thought it paired really nicely on the lower lash line when using the Revolution palette. So that was my smoky lower liner. If I didn't choose to do much liner at all, I took my Brown Abyss stick here from L'Oreal Les Shadow Stick range. I didn't end up using that because I did do liquid liner both days. I used my Milani Stay Put Tank in black. I had to get rid of the brown because I was using that on the heels of an eye infection, so I repurchased and black was what was available. Took an extra little pencil liner that I did not end up using. It's my Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in Dimensional Dark Brown. Just a good basic liner pencil to have on hand. Kind of trying to put away as I go here. And then I took 3 mascaras, so this wasn't too overboard for me. I ended up using my Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect on the top. Hi, kitten. Come on in. I used the e.l.f. Lash Extender, which is my tubing mascara on the lower lashes, and those wore really well. And I took my new Too Faced Ribbon Wrapped Mascara just in case I felt like playing with it. It is a tubing mascara also, and I did try that on Belle one of the days because she just doesn't like an extended process of makeup removal, and I typically do a waterproof mascara on her because we just don't want anything to go anywhere for competitions. And tried this on day 2, and it wore very well on her. It built up quick, but it does take a little longer to dry than the Maybelline Full and Soft Waterproof that I typically use on her. So that's all the eye stuff. And then for lips, I took my little mini Laneige lip sleeping mask in chocolate and did use that as a lip prep step. I love the smell of that. On day 1 of the competition, I used the lip combo that I won't shut up about, my LA Colors that I'm so proud of here, the lip liner pencil in Natural. Got all this from Walmart, by the way. Melted Nude lipstick, and then the holographic iridescent lip gloss. That shade is called Heavenly. It's so pretty. I love that lip combo, and it just looks good anywhere, anytime. Like it doesn't really matter what you're pairing that with. It just seems right. On day 2, I just decided let's go a little more pinky with the lip, and I used this Rimmel Lasting Mega Matte. I talked about this in a somewhat recent video. Up to 16-hour wear, liquid lip color. Shade is called Rose and Shine, and this wore super well, super evenly for me, even through eating and drinking. Water bottles, nachos, you know, like it still hung on pretty well. It's not the type of lip color where I would say, oh, I was removing that at the end of the day. It's not doing Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink things, but it's also probably feeling just a little more light and comfy on the lips too. So anyway, it ends up being kind of a medium pink shade there. Other stuff I just had on me lip-wise that I didn't use, so these are the amount of options I guess I like to have. I took my Revlon Color Stay lip liner in nude. I took one of the Lawless glosses, which I like. I guess I just didn't have a place for it. The Strawberry Popsicle, the more pinky shade of their new few that came out. Super Stay Matte Ink Crayon and Live on the Edge, this perfect like deep dusty rose hint of burgundy shade. I think that's just like my safety blanket of lip colors. It's just gonna go with me. Took the Neutrogena Revitalizing Lip Balm if I just wanted something comfy on my lips, Petal Glow. Kind of rediscovered that with my Neutrogena video recently, and I do love it, but I didn't use it. And also I took Burt's Bees Lip Shimmer in Fig, which compared to the shade I have on, less reddish looking, more like a soft berry. I did not end up using that either. So my friends, I hope you found that interesting on the things that I sort of overpacked on, but I think actually for the most part, I didn't overpack too badly this trip. I used most of what I took, and I think the options that I gave myself were valid. But yeah, on to another week. Thank you so much for taking time to watch, my friends, and I will see you again very soon. I love you. Bye.